I was born to be a teacher, and it's one of the few things that I am 100% certain in my life. It's that I was born to be a teacher. And look, to celebrate Teachers Week and Teachers Day and the theme of this episode, look at this t-shirt that I'm wearing. Now, if you're not watching this episode, look at the video. Look at this. Cool girl Stitch. I love this t-shirt. I'm so in love with it. I got it as a gift from Teacher's Day. Oh, it was so cute. I got it from Anna. She's my student, she's my coworker, and she's also a wave teacher. So this was very symbolic. I'm so happy to have this shirt with me today because we are in Teachers Week and if you don't follow us on our Instagram, if you haven't seen what we're doing this week, go look at our feed because there are so many nice posts and so many nice messages from our students to our teachers. I love this profession. I love Wave. I love the school. I love teaching, and this is what I want to talk about today, ok? Bem-vindos a esse episódio. A gente usa todo esse podcast para você treinar o seu listening, então a gente tem muitos episódios no Spotify, no YouTube. Aproveita para você treinar a sua compreensão e siga a gente nessas plataformas. Você pode avaliar o podcast também, tá? E acompanhe a gente no Instagram, porque lá tem muito conteúdo. Tem nossos alunos falando inglês, nossas professoras falando inglês também. @wavefluency no Instagram, no TikTok. Então, aproveita para nos acompanhar, porque o mundinho da Wave é maravilhoso. Eu vou falar disso hoje, inclusive, de ser professora em comemoração à semana aí dos Teachers Day. Enfim, amo falar desse tópico, so let's start. I want to talk about like some reasons why I think I was born to be a teacher. And let me start with a little story. Once in high school, a teacher asked us what we wanted to be, what we wanted to do when we grew up. And I said I wanted to be a teacher. I was a teacher already, actually. I was 15 at that time. And I answered this question in front of the whole class. And one of my classmates had the audacity to say, "Aw, what a waste. You are so smart and you want to be a teacher? That's such a waste." Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. I hated this girl, by the way. She was my nemesis. But she sat in front of the whole class like, "Ai, que desperdício, like, what a waste. You are so smart and you want to be a teacher?" Oh, I mean, at least she called me smart, right? But that was so disrespectful for me because I was already a teacher and I wanted to go to law school, but I've always said, like, I've always been sure about becoming a teacher. That was so offensive to me. I have never forgotten this moment. And I mean, ever since then, I made a promise to myself that I was going to be proud, a proud teacher, no matter where I was. And my career as a teacher is, I mean, it has been very rewarding. It has brought me here where I am today. I owe everything I have to my teacher career. I'm not ashamed of that, and I have never forgotten that. Ugh, what she said, and I hate her for it. It's like 10 years later, and I haven't forgot that. But anyways, when it comes to teaching, I am like that TikTok audio. I don't know if you've heard that it's from the TV show Euphoria. It's like Maddie knew who she was from a very early age. And I feel like that TikTok audio describes me when it comes to teaching because I knew who I was from a very early age. And I knew I was going to be a teacher. Like, I remember so clearly when I was a little kid that the teachers would always tell my parents, like, "Oh, Nicole, she helps the other classmates. She learns everything like faster and she teaches everybody else and everything." I've always been that teacher's assistant figure in class. And I mean, I have always been a communicator, and that translated into becoming a teacher like so early in my life that my strongest memories from school aside from my friendships, which are truly the strongest ones, but some of my strongest memories from school are these moments where I was teaching my classmates or I was giving presentations in front of the class. And every time that happened, I was always thinking like, damn, I was born for this. But I mean, the episode has barely started and I've been a little cocky a few times now. I know cocky is not be like se achando. I know I've been cocky a few times. I know I've been cocky a few times during this episode, but let me explain to you. I've always loved communicating and I've always known that I was going to be such a great teacher, you know? It's in my blood. And this is something that us teachers we always say. Once you fall in love with teaching, you can never go back. And if you have if you were born for this, if you were born for teaching, you are like a lot of the times you are so sure about it that you just know you're good. You just know you're passionate about it, you know? I feel like if you find out that you are a great teacher and that you were born for this, you cannot run away from it. You cannot escape from it, you know? And I mean, life did what it had to do, and at 15, I was already a teacher, and was already 100% sure of what I wanted to do in my life. And I started this episode because I want to think about some of the reasons why I think that yes, I was born for teaching. Not because I'm so good, no, but I want to talk about all the things that teaching have has brought me, you know, has brought me to my life. And I don't know. I just want to reminisce. Do you know this verb in English? Reminisce. Reminisce. It's it's like remembering the past. You know, it's like recollecting memories from the past. And in this episode, I want to reminisce because I want to think about some of the moments that really marked me as a teacher. You know, and that got me thinking that yes, I was born for this. And one of the strongest and earliest memories I have is from a group that I had at the English course that I used to teach. They were all teenagers, and I was a teenager too. They were like 15, and I was like 17, and I was their teacher. And I was in love with this group. Like, they were my favorites by far, but they were terrible. Like they behaved so terribly and they were like the troublemakers at the school. And their grades were not that good. Like the teachers had no patience with them. And then I became their teacher eventually. And I was obsessed with them. They were my favorites. I still follow them to this day, like to know what's happening in their lives. And I'm always so proud. I feel like a proud mother. No, not a mother, a big sister, because I was basically their age. But there was one student specifically in this group, and she was a classic teenager. So she didn't care a lot about learning. You know, she was like, screw that. This is not important. I don't care. She had that behavior of I don't care. And I mean, I always thought to myself, oh my God, how can I teach this girl if she doesn't care about anything? And then eventually, they took this group away from me. They put another teacher in this group. And months later, I was talking to her on social media, and she said that I was the only teacher who actually taught her something in English because she didn't like it. She didn't care. And the only reason she kept going to the English course was because of my classes. And after they changed the teacher, she quit. She stopped going to the course and she said that she wasn't excited anymore. And this is one of my strongest memories from back when I used to teach at this course because I never imagined that I had impacted her somehow because she was always so, you know, laid back in class, like relaxada. She didn't care about anything and I had no idea how much of an impact I had on her until she told me that months later. And I mean, she passed away a few years later. When she passed away, When that happened, like it was one of the first times that I realized how big of a connection we create with our students. I still feel like crying every time I think about her, but when that happened, I thought, oh my God, it's crazy how big of a connection we create with our students because I know that we have impact on their lives, but the way they impact our lives is so crazy. And sometimes it's hard to deal with that because they're such big feelings, And um, it- I always get emotional when I think about them because I was so young. I was learning with them too. And I mean, I never forgot this group because we had such a strong connection. It was one of the first moments where I realized that teaching brings this type of connection to your life. And it's a connection that you don't get if you're not a teacher. It's different from friendship. It's different from family relationships. It's different from romantic relationships. I don't know. The relationship between a teacher and a student is something that I've never seen, that I never see in other types of relationships that I have in my life. And look, I'm not good with names. There have been many times where I forgot people's names, my old students' names, but I never forget the feeling that I had with them. Like I might forget your name, but I'll never forget the connection that I had with you. I can remember the exact feeling, the exact connection I had with every one of my students, and they always have that impact on me. It's crazy. Which brings me to one of the greatest things teaching has gotten me, which is friends. Some of my closest friends have been my students, and I've met so many special people in my life in all the places that I've taught. A lot of people I know and I cherish, they've been my students before. In fact, a big part of why I teach is building community and creating this feeling of community that you get from having students and from working with other teachers and sharing experiences with other teachers. This feeling of community is so important to me. I feel like I always talk about this, but today, I have the best of both worlds with Wave, where I get to meet people my age with similar tastes. And I mean, I love getting to communicate with other people through Wave, my course, and having other people relate to me and sharing their experiences with me. I love that. Wave brings me so much that feeling of community and connection. And I mean, influencing other people and being influenced by other people too. I love that. And I also have the other side because I teach in two other schools. And at these schools, I can have that in-person contact, which I don't have at Wave because we are an online school, right? So that feeling of like being in a physical classroom, in a classroom full of people, brings me so much joy, you know. But look, I know the conditions for teachers in general are not the best. But the way that I work today is a very privileged position. I get to work in physical classrooms in regular schools, but with small groups. And I teach other teachers. So I have a group of teachers and a group of teenagers. And with these two groups, I have such a big feeling of connection with them. The My adult students at the school, I love them so much. They are so affectionate with me. They have really embraced me in the school. I moved to the city like only 2 years ago, and they were the first ones to really like like bring me into this whole group. And with my teenagers, I love them. I have that feeling of being a big sister, and I just love that. I can't explain it, but when I teach, it doesn't matter like if it's at Wave, if it's in person, adults, teenagers, I always have this feeling of connection with other people, which is something that's so important to me. And also the feeling of accomplishment, like conquista, like completando o objetivo, accomplishment, é uma conquista. Every time I leave a class, I have this feeling of accomplishment for me, but also for my students. once Karen is a wave teacher too, right? She's our coordinator and she's my sister. Once she texted me and like she had become a wave teacher only like a few months earlier. She was a recent wave teacher. And she texted me saying something like, "Oh, I love seeing my students progress so much. Like I feel so good seeing them improve their English and everything." And I was like, "Yes, oh my God, yes." That's such a good feeling. Teaching is so much fun and so rewarding, like recompensador, recom recompensável. I don't I don't know, but teaching is so rewarding because every time you teach, you can see progress happening right in front of you. And oh, that is so meaningful to me, seeing that you finished your day and you made some type of difference. And on that day, you had progress, your student had progress. Like every day, you get to have an accomplishment, and that feeling is really, really good. Uh, and okay, let me talk about something else that is really meaningful to me as a teacher. This week, I got flowers from Teachers Day for Teachers Day. I was so surprised. I was so happy and emotional. And it came from an adult student. And she thanked me for helping her so much and being so thoughtful, like atenciosa with her. And it's funny because she's a student that I not only teach English, but also I help her with her confidence, with her fear, her insecurities, her self-development, like autodesenvolvimento, desenvolvimento pessoal. And a big part of our English classes is like therapy. It's like talking about her insecurities, her fears, her accomplishments, how great her progress has been so far. And she is overcoming, like superando, she's overcoming so many fears and so many insecurities in her life. I am always so happy to see that. Even when she thinks it's not making any difference, I can clearly see her develop as a person, with our classes. And these moments where we share these ideas and we discuss and we share our feelings and our thoughts is so meaningful to me. I'm sure every wave student can agree that our English classes feel like therapy. And not only my students, I've heard that from so many students of other teachers, they come to me, they talk to me. They are not my students, they are the other wave teacher students, and they always come and talk to me like, "Oh, my class feels like therapy." I know the other teachers, they tell me too about these situations where sometimes we spend 1 hour just talking about life and just like giving advice and sharing feelings. It's so nice, I I I cannot explain to you. If you're not a teacher, I don't think you will get it. Like how how meaningful it is to be, to be a part of this moment in someone's life, because sometimes the English class is the only moment they get. It's the only break they have from their routine, from the craziness of life. Sometimes it's the only way they can distract themselves. So being in that moment, connecting with people and just being there for people brings me so much joy. And I know that all the teachers share this feeling, when you have these connections with your students, it's so special. And this brings me to one of the most impactful moments I've ever had during this teacher life, and I'm almost finishing, which is a teenager student came to me and she shared some feelings she was having a hard time with life in general, and that conversation scared me so much because she said she feels like I'm her big sister and she looks up to me so much. Look up to someone, it's like admire someone. She looks up to me so much, and she felt so comfortable sharing those feelings with them. So like with me, some stuff about her life that I had no idea, and she was sharing that with me, and that hit me so hard because I was like, damn, they really look up to us. Like they really think of us as their sometimes they think of us as their family, especially when you're thinking about younger students. They really look up to us. Like when it comes to younger students, you can have lifelong impact on them. And when she said that to me, I was like, wow, this is the profession that I've chosen for my life. And it is so difficult knowing that you can have so much of an impact in someone's life. That's tough, carrying that over your shoulders is rough, you know. The fact that someone is always using you as a mirror, it can be it can be a load on your shoulders. That feels scary, but that conversation was one of the biggest confirmations I've ever had that yes, I was born to be a teacher. I was born to connect with people and to communicate and to share and to grow with others. I know it sounds cheesy, but I feel so fulfilled knowing that I get to do that, like with my life, and that I'm making a difference somehow. Knowing that I'm connecting with others, even if that means just teaching English to someone. It might seem silly, but it might seem simple or unimportant, but being in this position is one of the most joyful aspects of my life. And I've been rambling and rambling during this episode. I've been only talking about myself, but I mean, it's the only thing I can talk about, right? Sharing my personal experiences with you. But I just wanted to share how special it is to me being a teacher and being sure that this is what I've chosen for my life. So, in celebration of Teachers' Day and Teachers' Week, I wanted to leave you with that episode. But, anyways, I don't know if this episode affected you somehow. I don't know if this episode has made you proud of being a teacher, if you are, or if this episode has made you feel like becoming a teacher, if you're not, or if you just think this is a bunch of sentimental crap. It's okay. You can think that too. I do not blame you. But I wanted to leave this happy Teachers Day to all the teachers that are listening to me right now. I feel like we have no idea how much of an impact we have on people's lives. So I hope this episode was a good reminder. And yeah, I love this profession. I love this job. I love Wave. I'm so grateful. I sometimes I feel like those toxic positivity people. But what can I do? What can I do? I love my job. Let me finish this episode now, okay? I gotta go. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.